This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1837, previews. Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Ian Levinstein.
I'm Adam Murdo.
And I'm Chris Eberly. Cobra! Sorry.
How very striking of you, Chris.
Because that's a thing a snake does.
Indeed.
Those who are not watching this, I put on one of my innumerable COVID masks and did a little Cobra Trooper chant there. So,
well, welcome one and all to the show and previews time yet again for one and all as we get that out there and displaying also to everybody out there my shiny D20 that I finally got back after a friend had it for about 3 years. And this thing is the crown jewel of my D&D loving life. So once we get back to in-person D&D, it'll be rolling, and hopefully it'll be rolling well. We shall see. But before we get started, obviously, once again, as usual, we are sponsored by you, the listeners, over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. And we thank you so much for your continued support of the show.
Yes.
It really does keep the lights on, quite literally. And without your help, this show would be nothing. Nothing, I say, nothing. So thank you so much for your continued donations over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. And we roll into previews, and it is a milestone issue of previews this month, gentlemen. As we get
that's right.
Issue 400 of the previews catalog. Ain't that a thing?
It is indeed a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a whole bunch of comic books waiting to be bought by you 2 months after their solicitations.
And I have to wonder that there's somebody out there who's made a point of collecting and retaining every previews catalog.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, there were plenty of people who collected Wizard back in the day. I'm sure there's people that collect previews. Like that's
a lot of paper.
Yeah, I know. Yep. And right here, the main cover is We Have Demons by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo.
The back cover is more important as far as
yes, exactly. The back cover and the one I used for our episode artwork as well is the return of Astro City there when it is solicited very, very shortly. But yeah, it's back home in Image, and we will discuss that in full when we get to said solicitation. Now I actually have a wireless mouse, so it's a little bit easier for me to scroll when I need to do this, and hopefully the clicky doesn't show up too much on the recording. We shall see. We're going to find that out together as a crew.
He's such a cheerful shepherd, isn't he, gang?
While I'm on the page, by the way, a reminder, Free Comic Book Day is back in its May position as of now. So, huzzah indeed. May 7th, 2022.
What's the movie release that weekend?
Is it Doctor Strange?
Oh,
I think it's Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I think I recall that Morbius has been moved back to April, and somebody said that it was 1 month before the Doctor Strange release. So
yep.
Well, and here we are, assuming that May 7th date holds fast and actually occurs as scheduled. Here's where the fun begins. They're already announcing this year's Free Comic Book Day offerings in gold and silver tiers.
Yep.
That's quite a team on the best Archie comic ever.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Fred Van Lente on writing and Tim Seeley on artwork with a cover by the one and only Jamal Igle.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Excellent is right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad Archie is continuing to, both continue to produce new material and reprint old material in the classic Archie vein, but they continue to do things in their in the new, more contemporary Archie aesthetic. And this, with a creative team like that, is going to be a can't miss. It's definitely worth more than the cover price.
Absolutely. Yep. That's on page 26.
Right.
And we've got, again, the best Archie comic ever. And then right underneath that for Boom Studios, 25 years of Buffy the Vampire.
25 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep. Time flies.
One of the greatest television shows of all time.
Yep. Absolutely the case. And this is going to be a retrospective, both on the old and the new here, with Jordi Belair on writing, along with Jeremy Lambert and a whole bunch more. Dan Mora on the artwork. Should be good for any fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's a Ninja Turtles Free Comic Book Day special a little bit further down on page 27 by Tom Waltz with Sophie Campbell on the artwork. Any fans of the IDW version of the Turtles get a little bit more there. And as usual, Marvel won't tell you what this is.
But at least they're doing something, which is more than we can say for DC, unfortunately.
That is true, and very unfortunate. I'm assuming they're going to have something of their own, but it may not necessarily be under the Free Comic Book Day banner. I'm thinking it may show up digitally, exclusively. And I know Free Comic Book Day tries to shy away from digital exclusives under the Free Comic Book Day banner. So, I mean, we'll wait and see, but that wouldn't surprise me.
Levy, usually your perceptions are right on the money.
No, I try.
You're an astute reader of the media tea leaves.
Oh, and hey, American Mythology has as the Three Stooges Free Comic Book Day celebration. And, Murd, I will point out, actual writers listed.
Well, that's a nice change of pace.
I know. Page 29 for that one.
I think I might even recognize one of their names.
Oh, go figure. And I'm trying to scroll through here a little bit.
That's cool. They have Red Sonja Marvel stories in that Dynamite.
Yeah.
Frank Thorne.
Written by Bruce Jones.
Yep.
I forgot he ever did Red Sonja.
Yeah.
Figure. That's on page 30. And right underneath that, Fantagraphics has a Disney Masters Donald Duck & Co. special for anybody who's a fan of the old Disney comics. And I think that's about it for the Free Comic Book Day stuff as of now. There'll be more stuff announced as we get closer to May. These are just the advanced solicitations for everybody. And I think this may be when DCBS is also going to offer that, just so that it's pre-done. But either way, you can add things to your order after the fact with anybody, whether it be a LCS or DCBS or so on and so forth. If you find something new and interesting that may catch your eye. Best of 2000 AD issue 0 on page 33.
Al Ewing.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, and this was pointed out, or at least an Al Ewing collection shows up later on in the previews. That was pointed out by one of our listeners on the Facebook, on the Comic Geek Speak supergroup. But this is the best of 2000 AD issue 0, and you get some Al Ewing and John Wagner and Pat Mills for free, along with Chris Burnham artwork.
Kevin O'Neill.
Yep. Excellent. Good stuff. Page 33. And remember, everything comes back to 2000 AD. All right. Let's head over to Image, shall we? Okay. Let's scroll a little bit further down. And we begin with the hotly anticipated return of Astro City. That was then.
First of all, Astro City, anytime they do a one-shot, it's always great. I mean, everything Astro City, I think, is essentially great, but the one-shots are always particularly wonderful. And it's Kurt Busiek. He's always at the helm of his baby. So this will be the first thing I'm ordering this month.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm way behind on Astro City. I've only ever read the first volume. So I've got tons to read, and I'm sure I will get to it. But I'm happy to see it back. I mean, Busiek is a stalwart in the industry, and he's done some of the best DC and Marvel stuff, period, over the years. And Astro City is very much a love letter to everything superheroes in more ways than one, and now Image Comics has it back with it. So,
and I would add to that, Ian, based on what you said before, that obviously all our lives are cluttered. When you have reading time, this Astro City should be at the top of your pile.
Absolutely,
you'll love it.
Yep. They mentioned, which we'll get to later on in the solicitations here for Image, but there's also the Astro City Metro book, which collects the first 3 years.
That was last month, I believe.
Yes,
previews, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it's resolicited here
okay.
as well, just for to keep it Astro City themed. But page 40 with that Astro City special with Brett Anderson on the artwork and Alex Sinclair and Busiek on the writing, leading into a brand new Astro City series.
Interesting range of variant covers there at the bottom of page 40. I mean, not that there's anything wrong at all with Alex Ross's primary cover, but some other fun little riffs on
really fun
Image Comics offerings down there.
I like the Wick Dev cover E, Wicked in the very much going for a Wicked in the Divine.
And then you have an Old Guard cover next to that. Looks really great.
One of them looks like the Lone Ranger comics cover D there,
and cover C is Radiant Black, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. Yep, good stuff. All right, and then another awesome creator comes out with something new, Little Monsters #1 by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. Oof, that's a good pedigree right there for a series.
Sure is.
Yep. Page 42. They're the last children on Earth who also happen to be vampires. It's kind of all I have to even read from the solicitation there. Like, they should have just kept that and not even bother with anything else. That's premise. Boom. Enough said. And I'm just looking at the artwork here. It's dystopian.
It's wonderful. Beautifully
manga inspired. I'm so in for all of this.
He's in, ladies and gentlemen. In. Levenstein.
Bye. Great use of color and not color as well.
And speaking of manga inspired, then you've got Ghost Cage coming up here on page 46.
Yep. Nick Dragotta and Caleb Golner. Nick Dragotta on the artwork as well. This is the follow-up to East of by Nick Dragotta of East of West, and it's a extra length limited series. Remember when those were called maxi series?
Yes, they were.
Yeah. Now they're extra length limited series. So go figure. When his megacore power plant falls under attack by terrorists, the super scientist who revolutionized and controls all energy on Earth sends his ultimate creation and an adequate employee in to destroy his most monstrous secrets. Describe it as the high-stakes storytelling of the Manhattan Projects brought to life by the artist behind East of West. Once again, on page 46 here.
Yes, all told in stark, glorious black and white.
Yep, as well it should be. Looking good. Ooh, look at the detail on that.
That's phenomenal artwork.
Oh,
beautiful.
Page 49 for anybody reading along with us. Beautiful headshot there.
All right, so now we have the first Radiant Black offshoot series. So this is following Radiant Red, who is, not to spoil too much, but is a key character in the flagship series, who is a very complicated character to say the least. And it seems they're going to be exploring that complexity in this offshoot series. So that's exciting.
I do have that first volume, Chris. It just hasn't been read yet.
Once again, when we do our awards this year, Radiant Black's going to be all over my nominations.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this is a 5-issue mini by Cherish Chen and the amazing David LaFuente and Miguel Muerto on page 50, right there, all part of Generation Image. For any of you who might be retailers, this is a no-risk issue 1.
Yeah, all the books you looked at so far, all no risk issue 1s.
Very happy to see that. Great artwork, too. Whole bunch of number ones to start off the year here for Image. Page 54, Slumber #1 by Tyler Burton Smith and Vanessa Cardinale. Stetson is a nightmare hunter, a dream detective. She runs a shoddy back alley business where she helps clients sleep at night by entering their dreams and killing their nightmares. I mean, that's a living.
She tracks down a literal living nightmare. A serial killer murders people in their sleep.
Wow.
Like Freddy Krueger.
Love it. Love the concept. Yeah, and the artwork on the next couple of pages after page 54. Oh my God. Yeah, this is just as nightmarish as I wanted it to be.
Oh, that's a great page. Wow.
Yep. Definitely. Good stuff. New miniseries by Tim Seeley and Steve Orlando on the following pages. Loaded Bible, Blood of My Blood. All part of the Loaded Bible series. So if you were a fan of the previous, now there's more. On page 58. And then there's Zdarsky.
So I've mentioned this series many times. Stillwater is one of the most exciting comics being produced, I think, today. And looks like here that they are teasing there's going to be a final chapter. So I'm always happy when creator-owned books have endings.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the first trade is out. All I'll say, if you haven't read it, is it's about a town where nobody can die.
Yep.
And let's leave it at that. And
this one-shot Stillwater, The Escape, is 40 pages, only for $4.99, and on page 59 here by Zdarsky and a bunch of other co-creators and Ramon K. Perez, Ethan Young, Jason Liu, and Sue Lee on the artwork. Chris Ryle, Zombies versus Robots, classic #1. Back in print for the first time in over a decade. So any of you guys who may have missed this the first time around, it's the original Zombies versus Robots back in print here on page 60. It's zombies, it's robots. What else do you need? Yep. I knew that was coming. Page 60.
God. What's impressive is the pace that Brubaker and Phillips are maintaining. This is I think the fourth one it's the fourth one they've released. In the first one came out, I think, at the end of 2020, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe so.
So they're knocking them out, man. And again, if you love noir, what are you doing? You should be reading this already. I mean, it's one of it's every time the first 3 OGNs have all been superb. The main character is a former sort of early 70s. Well, sort of, he was a radical, but there's more to him than that. I want to give more away. And he ends up being like a troubleshooter to help people out of problems. That's all you need to know, because it's Brubaker and Phillips doing a story like that. So, but there's heavy loads of regret and nostalgia and just, a good man trying to find his way through his own demons and, the demon-littered landscape he's trying to navigate. So, tremendous.
The Ghost in You, a reckless book by Brubaker and Phillips. And I'll break some news here for you, Chris, as I'm not sure if you heard, but Ed Brubaker has signed on to be a writer on the new Batman animated coming to HBO Max.
I did not hear that, but that is deeply exciting.
Yep. It'll be him co-collaborating with Bruce Timm and the director of the upcoming Batman movie, whose name escapes me at the moment.
And when is that series supposed to debut?
I believe sometime next year, if I remember.
All right.
Yep.
That's tremendous news.
Cannot wait to see that, and cannot wait to see this, because oof.
Look at that art.
Gorgeous artwork. Absolutely gorgeous.
Cyberforce.
Yep. Page 67. We're going back in time to the beginning.
Do we really need to?
I mean, I'm sure it has its fans. I mean, look, you got Simonson on some of that artwork there, so I mean that's
Granted.
no slouch. I mean, David Finch, Scott Williams, Michael Turner, Joe Benitez. It's classic 90s Image, whether you consider it to actually be classic or not. And that's what they're giving you here, the Complete Cyber Force Volume 1. Back in print for the first time since 1992 on page
I always found my own peanut gallery observation, the motivation and mission statement of the beginning of Image more inspiring than the actual titles they released in most cases. But then over time, Image became, I think, the most exciting company in comics. So
absolutely, it was the little engine that could.
Once they got people who could write. So.
Yes, exactly. Yep. All right. Any trades to point out, gentlemen? Murd, you want to point out Ice Cream Man?
Oh, okay. Now that. Okay, I'll. Yeah, but this is page 69. It's a horror anthology series like none other. It's written by W. Maxwell Prince with art by Martin Morazzo. I've recommended it a couple of times on the podcast.
Yeah, indeed. Yep.
Well, just listen to, if you haven't been listening to me, listen to Brian K. Vaughan's words. I've literally never read anything like this genre-defying sort of anthology thing, but it's effing awesome. The writing is strange and deeply unsettling, and the artwork is gorgeous. The new comic I most look forward to reading each month. Quoth Mr. Vaughn.
So that's a Murdo and a Vaughn recommendation. Come on.
Exactly. Yep. And that's that Sunday edition Volume 1 hardcover is there for you on page 69, and collects a whole bunch of Ice Cream Man for you.
Yep. Each issue is a different take on horror, a different inflection, a different flavor, if you will. Yeah, but what they all have in common is that eerily well-attired Ice Cream Man as he moves from story to story, protagonist to protagonist, and just scoops up hellish scenarios of regret and eerie transformation and so on and so forth. It's nice. If you're any kind of horror fan, or even if you're not such a horror fan, as indeed I am not. I mean, this is
true. Yep.
It's just the different creative approaches that the creative team keep finding issue after issue. It's kind of impressive enough for that reason, even if horror is not your usual cup of tea.
And it often is not for me. So that's I usually like my horror funny. That's how I like to consume it. Anything that's like a horror comedy or a horror plus something else, I'll give a shot.
So. Ice Cream Man is horror plus a lot of different things.
Well, good.
You get your choice of toppings.
Yes. That's good.
It is sometimes funny, sometimes exactly the opposite, but it's just a different thing each issue.
Nice. Page 71, we mentioned on the show in the past, Rick Remender's A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, and here's the first trade of that. And it's one of the Image's $10 for first volumes, so you get the first 5 issues of Remender.
Can't beat that.
Yep, for a solid $10.
Props to Image for continuing that tradition.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. When single issues can sometimes cost $4, it's nice to see a trade for 10. Yep. Page 71 for that one. All right. I think that's it for Image. Unfortunately, no Saga this month for the looks of it.
There's a Saga.
Oh, there is Saga. Further down? Oh, yeah, here we are. Yes. Sorry. Sometimes I forget how these solicitations work. So
yeah, they don't make any bells and whistles about it, but it's there.
Oh, yeah, there we are. Yep. 57.
Yep. Coming out month after month.
Long-term relationships are easy. Lying. Page 87.
Superb.
Yep. Very good. All right. And then with that, we can head over to Dark Horse. And Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo.
The Batman team.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of horror, We Have Demons, 1 of 3. And since the very dawn of man, legends have been told of the conflict between angel and demon kind. Lamb Lyle, going with that nice alliteration name there, a woman of science, dismissed these stories as just that, fiction, when the loss of a loved one leads to discovery of a hulking, benevolent demon named Helvis. Thank you very much. Lamb realizes that her life is about to undergo a dire new direction. The newfound partner and awesome powers now at her disposal, our hero suddenly finds herself thrust into a climactic war of good and evil, with no less than the fate of the world hanging in the balance.
Let me interject for a minute, Levy Poo, because I had a rough day today, but when you just did your little Borscht Belt moment with that Elvis thing, I feel a bit better, I have to tell you.
I am here to make us all feel better, whether it be hosts or listeners.
It's those moments of continuity you provide. Well done, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And I appreciate this story on page 94. Honestly, I love the team of Snyder and Capullo, and I'm happy to see them doing more. And this is certainly different than some of the other stuff that they've been doing of late. Even though I guess death metal had its own bit of horror thrown in there. Okay. Scroll down a little further here. Get past the Assassin's Creed. And onward to Count Crowley, Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter, #1. Just for that name alone, and also for this awesome, Rocky Horror-esque.
Yeah.
Had to mention that. David Dasmalkian on the writing, and Lucas with a K, Kettner on the artwork. It's been a hell of a week for Jerry Bartman. She lost her job, crashed her car, took the only gig available hosting the Midnight Monster Show, and, oh yeah, dismembered a zombie. No big deal. Oh, man. Just love the idea of an actual, horror host having to deal with actual zombies. Page 102 there.
And here's a new concept from Mike Mignola on page 103, Radio Spaceman, #1 of 2. Written by Mignola, who also provides the cover, interior art by Greg Hinkle and colorist Dave Stewart. It's a mystery in space kind of thing, as the spooky android Radio Spaceman has to go into space to investigate the disappearance of a ship that has crashed on a mysterious planet. And it's a character in a story that kind of arose out of random doodles that Mignola had done, which is just creativity in its purest form. And I think it's going to be a fun little star shot. I think I'm gonna pick this one up.
Yep, with a name like Radio Spaceman, it just screams kitschy goodness. Radio Spaceman.
Yes, exactly. You got to draw it out a little more, though. Like, Radio Spaceman.
There you go. Nice. Very Powder Toast Man-esque of you.
Yep, no one does it better, Murd. Nobody does it better.
How about this on page 107? The Stone King by Kel McDonald and Tyler Crook. When you become an adult, you have to prove yourself. At least that's how it works for the Stoneport thieves. But what Ava thought would buy her a ticket to adventure and a better life brings disaster instead. Now her home is in danger, and fixing her mistakes is the city's only hope. This is a Comixology original, so any of you who have access to Amazon Prime or Comixology Unlimited, you will be able to read this on there. But if you would like a physical copy, this is where you're going to get it. Out of Dark Horse, The Stone King. Kel McDonald and Tyler Crook on page 107.
It's a great sample image.
Yes, it is. And we'll get a collection of Brian Michael Bendis' 5-issue miniseries Joy Operation shortly, as issue 5 is solicited on 108. Now, Bendis has made his deal with Dark Horse. So everything that was coming out of DC that was creator-owned is now with Dark Horse. So that means Scarlet is getting reissued, along with Powers, the best.
Some of these run to the old Marvel Icon imprint too, weren't they?
You got it. Yep.
Yeah.
And even before then, it was Image, and then it was straight up independent.
Yeah.
Yeah, page 109 has the Scarlet. I think originally was Icon.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Powers obviously has been everywhere, but this is over at Dark Horse. They are the new home for creator-owned Brian Michael Bendis goods. And we'll see what comes out of that. 109. Another collection as well of Sin City for anybody who's looking to recollect or collect for the first time. Frank Miller's Epic Volume 5 solicited on 110. We're getting close to the end of Black Hammer Reborn, Chris.
It's so good. God.
Well, it'll be a great 12-issue collection.
Yeah, it sure will.
Yep. Page 111 for that one, and then Maze Book by Jeff Lemire on the right-hand side of that page. And anything else in Dark Horse?
Oh, look at that Dreadstar omnibus. Wow.
Yeah.
Classic Starlin. It's over 500 pages worth of it.
Indeed.
That was under Marvel's Epic line originally, wasn't it, Murd?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, actually. Yeah. I actually have
that's a great collection. Wow.
Yeah. As Murd said, over 500 pages, 512 to be exact.
For $30 before discount. Yep. That's great.
And just a note, as this is the January solicitations, this will not be coming out until May 18th. So this is a early pre-order of Dreadstar on page 114. Further from the EC Archives vault on 115, we get Volume 2 of The Vault of Horror. Apparently, The Hellbound is now a Netflix original series. I'm assuming an anime. And Volume 2 of that is solicited on page 118. And that is Dark Horse. And now, DC. That's not DC, that's Marvel. Let's try that again. And now, DC. There we go.
There are some exciting offerings in DC this month, I thought.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that cover image shortly. They start the book off with Batman 121, and just a further continuation of Bruce being out of Gotham on that very first page, and it's the conclusion to the Abyss arc, and that's my main reason for mentioning it. As we'll see where they go from here, and who that new member of Batman Inc. turns out to be.
Oh,
but then page 2.
Wow.
Did not see this one coming.
Oh, look at that team.
Yeah. Yep. Tom King and Dave Marquez returning to the Batman lore. And,
early in Batman's career.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this is not part of Tom King's Batman epic with that he's been telling. No. This is just straight up old school Batman coming at you with Tom King. So.
Catwoman, the Riddler, and the Penguin join forces. In.
Yep.
Tom King writing, doubly in.
Yeah, and it's 40 pages for a first issue of a miniseries too. So that's always nice to see. It's on page 2, and the artwork on the next couple of pages.
Look at that Catwoman. Holy mackerel.
My oh my. Beautiful rendering of Catwoman's classic costume there. But
and then there's this. Jeez.
Oh my God, page.
Yeah, wow.
Yep. I'm just going to assume you're buying this, Murd.
Yeah. I'm so deeply into this concept, Ian. It's a World's Finest series written by Mark Waid, with art by Dan Klaus Mora. Yeah, I'm definitely on Team Superman Batman.
Oh yeah,
Team Batman Superman. But I don't care who's first on the marquee, as long as this creative team is up there with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get a Superman Batman team up here, and apparently Metallo is going to be involved in the first story, and also just harkening back to the old days of Wade's volume of Brave and the Bold, he's throwing in an extra guest star in the Doom Patrol.
Nice. Now, Murray, may I assume that you are not going to wait for the time bubble to dock to read this book?
Well, I'm not going to wait for that to buy it.
Okay.
There will definitely be a skim, and there will be discussion on the comic talk.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Most want to talk about through it. So yeah, and yes, that's a good idea, Ian. I'll put it aside for an upcoming comic talk episode of this.
Exactly. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, because I'm going to be breaking my rule for this one, Murd, because I don't usually buy full price digital comics, and I am going to be buying this.
Wow, you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, because
one precedent after another being broken.
Very hard to pass up something of this caliber. It just deserves to be read, and I'm not waiting. So, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, #1.
God, Ian, that's like the equivalent of like Rick and Casablanca starting to drink with his guests, man. Holy mackerel.
Hey, I've got whiskey in the other room. What are you talking about? Oh, and that artwork. Ooh,
look, it's phenomenal.
And okay, the Chip Zdarsky variants are the favorite thing I have seen in recent memory.
The slap battle, right?
Hey, Batman! Looking forward to the first issue of Superman. It's Batman, Superman, world's finest.
But Superman's expression is especially tremendous in those images.
Beautiful,
because he's got more reason to be ticked off than Batman.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just looking at the nice, sharp, black, heavy inked, delineation around the chest insignia of the two characters. That alone is enough to get me excited.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then randomly, for some reason, Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, comedians in cars with coffee. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. The 1 in 100 variant cover by Dan Mora on page 5. Okay, sure.
Well, he's a Superman fan.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. Now, Batman Beyond the White Knight is on the very next page.
Beyond being a very key word here.
You darn tootin'.
Oh, Shane, this one's for you.
Yep. A lot can change in 10 years, especially in Gotham. And Sean Murphy goes back to his White Knight tale, this time introducing Jason Todd, the first Robin. And that we're going to get some Batman Beyond-esque action here with a very, very new twist on page 6. And I look forward to seeing what Sean Murphy does with this. I think it's going to be great. This other White Knight stuff has been really superb, and look at the rendering of
Awesome.
Tyrese Batman Beyond suit there. Good stuff.
Well, that other Sean Murphy stuff did get a good bit of acclaim from our listeners in previous Best of Awards voting.
Absolutely. All right. Scroll past. There's a whole bunch of Detective Comics coming out in this month, but let's go instead over to Shadow War Alpha #1 on page 11. Joshua Williamson and Victor Bogdanovich tell a tale of Deathstroke assassinating Ra's al Ghul and Talia
Sure.
seeking revenge.
Oh no, he assassinated the character whose stock and trade is bringing himself back to life.
Oh no.
Oh, the drama, the stakes.
Any Batman Deathstroke crossover is usually a lot of fun, though.
Oh yeah.
That's what matters.
And I love the concept of there being a Deathstroke ink to go with Batman ink. Oh man, page 11. DC's done a really good job of making Deathstroke a character again, because for a while there it was just a weapon, and he's become a person again over the years.
And I just got a few months ago the omnibus of the Christopher Priest Deathstroke series from a few years ago, which is outstanding, and that's a lot of what you were talking about, Ian.
Exactly. Yep. Naomi season 2 begins. Bendis and Walker on page 12. Naomi, soon to be a CW series.
I was going to say, I saw the commercial for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that began this week, in fact. I didn't watch it, but I saw the commercial.
Did it really? Okay. Wow. I didn't realize it was going to be a mid.
Did Murd scoop Levenstein? Wow.
I wasn't sure whether it was the fall or January, but good to know. I'll have to check it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It just comes with watching a little more broadcast TV.
Yes. that's on page 12, and also I have the premiere of Superman and Lois season 2 to watch as well. I heard about some cool things that happened in that.
And did you note, Chris, that the Walker co-writing this with Bendis is David F. Walker?
I saw that. Excellent writer.
Ooh, oh my God! Look at that! Look at that artwork. Oof, man. Watching Black Adam explode like that. Okay, Trial of the Amazons on page 14, furthering Becky Cloonan's time on the Wonder Woman franchise, as things are heating up after the events of Nubia and the Amazons. The dangers of Doom's doorway have found their way to man's world and garnered the attention of not one, but all 3 Amazonian tribes. We get to see what happens here with a badass Jim Chung cover.
Yeah, I'll say. God, I love Jim Chung's work.
Same here. Yep. It's on page 14. Oh, there's going to be a Wonder Girl.
What a beautiful cover. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cassie Sandsmark will be involved along with Yara Flor in the Trial of the Amazons Wonder Girl #1 by Joelle Jones. Art and cover by Joelle Jones as well. Page 16. Page 17 has the sensational Wonder Woman special. Scott Collins on the writing of a part of this, along with artwork by Scott Collins and Paul Pelletier and Aletha Martinez on the art chores. Stephanie Phillips and Paula Sevenbergen on the writing as well on page 17.
Murd, I thought of you when I saw this.
Mm-hmm. Page 18.
Yep, this is an outgrowth of recent events in Robbie Thompson's Suicide Squad series, and apparently it's gotten too big for that series to hold, because here it is. War for Earth 3. It's a 2-issue miniseries. It's crossing over with a couple of other DC series in the month of March. It's Amanda Waller has made it her mission, and therefore that of her Suicide Squad, to liberate the parallel Earth of Earth 3 from the iron grip of the crime syndicate of America. And this miniseries is being co-written by Dennis Hopeless. You may remember from some of his Marvel projects of the past. Avengers Arena, and there was a Spider-Woman run in there somewhere. He's a pretty good writer. And this is just the kind of thing that would play to his talents. So, yeah, I'm definitely doing that. And if you turn to page 20, you see there's a handful of crossovers involved there, too. Suicide Squad, of course, but also The Flash, which is being guest written by Thompson and Hopeless, just allowing Jeremy Adams to step aside for a bit. And also an issue of Teen Titans Academy. And I'll be buying all of those except Teen Titans Academy because I can't forgive that series for Billy Batson being thrown into it. Not necessarily the fault of the creative team. It's just kind of a personal peeve of mine.
No, fair enough. I do appreciate that it looks like both Connor Superboy and Match are a part of what's going on here with this event. And Match being the Bizarro Superboy.
Yeah, well, after a fashion.
Yeah,
and I do get a little bit, much as I love Bizarro characters, I get a little irritated to see Match being used that way. And this stems back to Jeff Johns' Teen Titans series of 15 years ago. But Match, when he was originally created in Carl Kiesel's Superboy run in the 90s, the point was he was the opposite of a Bizarro. He was not an imperfect duplicate, but a more perfect duplicate of his original gene donor. And writers seem to have forgotten that about him. But here in this Suicide Squad series, he's relearned proper grammar, and he's coming back closer to the original concept.
Good.
I just got a Professor Murdo chill there. Oh, that was tremendous.
Class dismissed.
Yep. All right. Moving further down, let's go to Rogues #1. This is a Black Label book. And boy, oh boy, Joshua Williamson on the writing and the artwork by Leo Max, and a very realistic looking, almost like movie poster cover by Sam Wolf Connolly, as we explore kind of like a Dark Knight Returns for Flash's Rogues. 10 years ago, the Rogues disbanded, and now Captain Cold has a plan. And we get to find out what that plan is.
A neo-noir heist. All right.
Yeah. You son of a bitch, I'm in. It's hard for me not to say that for any sort of Ocean's Heist now on page 21.
Well, if he's in, I'm in.
Yeah, no, this looks awesome. Four-issue mini in the Black Label vein, and good stuff.
It's going to be a take on the Flash's Rogues Gallery we have not yet seen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think the time for it has come.
Oh, Gene Ha. Man.
Yes.
The master. Oh.
Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons. This is the second issue of Kelly Sue DeConnick's Wonder Woman Historia. It's a 2 of 3. And yes, the amazing Gene Ha on the artwork, and a variant cover by Becky Cloonan as well.
Great artist as well.
Yep. That's another Black Label and right on top of that was issue 3 of Lonely City, Catwoman Lonely City.
Which Murd discussed in our last comic talk.
Indeed. All there on page 22, and then a new DC Pride hardcover on 23, collecting a whole bunch of LGBTQ centric stories out of DC. All right. What say we for the trades they're getting to before they yet again go back to their multiple solicitations on one page? They're spotlighting Sandman here. And I think it's because there's new volumes. Yes, four new softcover volumes of the classic comic. And obviously the Netflix series is coming soon. So these
so they could put the whole series into 4 mammoth editions.
Yep. And part of me just wants to get rid of like the 3 volumes of Sandman or 4 volumes that I own and just replace them with this. But I'll see how I feel.
You can live a little Levinstein.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But I have enough of it. I'll eventually wind up getting the rest probably from the library just to finish reading what I haven't read yet. I've read like maybe 4 volumes of Sandman.
Have you not actually read the entire series?
I've not read the whole story.
All right. Yeah. Sir, you have homework immediately.
Come on. I know.
There's books and there's Sandman.
Tell me about it. But
when is it supposed to premiere on Netflix?
No set date as of yet. Okay. But I'm assuming probably by the end of this year.
And who's playing Morpheus?
Ooh. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh,
is he really?
I thought.
I will look that up because
you better fact check me on that.
Yes, I will indeed fact check you on that because the announcements did come out. I just completely forget who they got. So let's see. Siam. I know that there were some surprises in the casting. All right, here we are. So I'm scrolling. So playing Morpheus. Let's see. Death is being played by Kirby Howell-Baptiste. We've got David Thewlis as John Dee. Patton Oswalt as Matthew the Raven.
Okay, that could work.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this was the big surprise as I'm looking at the rest of these announcements. Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer.
Oh, so Lucifer's been crosscast.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Yep. And I'm looking for the actual casting on Morpheus, and I don't actually see it, so I'm gonna have to look further. But either way, like it's a stacked cast. Like Stephen Fry is in the mix here. Charles Dance.
Oh, wow.
Like they're going all out. Let's see, Morpheus. I put in the word Morpheus. Let's see. I'm not talking about the podcast because I know who played him in that. I don't know if they've actually even announced it because I'm trying to find. They have most of the cast, but nobody's listed as Morpheus yet. So, okay. As we continue to do this previews, I'm going to be continuing to look at them. I don't like not knowing things, and yeah, they have a lot of the cast, but not that apparently. So go figure. Oh well, we'll see.
I'm just left wondering where I got Cumberbatch from.
I don't know. Is it because he plays everybody?
And does it well? Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
He would look great as the character.
He sure would.
Oh, he would definitely look great as the character. Yeah, no, I remember there was a time when I think people were trying to cast Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Morpheus.
I remember hearing about that. Yep.
Yeah.
I have a harder time picturing that.
I know. Tom Sturridge, that's who's playing Morpheus. Yep, he's an English actor.
Good.
So, he's got that going for him. And I'm just going to go ahead and share the page with his image on it real quick, just so you can see what I'm looking at. Here we are. You guys seeing that?
Seeing a Wikipedia entry.
Yes, indeed. Yep, and then he should be on the side of said Wikipedia entry there. Here we are. 1 second here.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
He's awfully youngish, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah. But I can see with.
I see it. I totally see it. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
With enough makeup, I think he'll be absolutely perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the deal. So it's not Benedict Cumberbatch, but I'm sure there's probably a fanfic out there where it is. He may have been in the initial, like, I'd love to see blank as blank. So that's more than likely where that came from.
I'm sure he came up in quite a few of those discussions. Those
Oh yeah,
fan casting wet dream kind of situations.
Most definitely. Suicide Squad Get Joker on page 30 here. Brian Azzarello with art by Alex Malev.
Wow.
Damn.
Colors by Matt Hollingsworth.
Yep. That's great stuff right there. And then a whole box set of Batman Black and White.
The Super Pets.
Yes.
Coming right out of the upcoming League, I still wish it were Legion, but League of Super Pets movie featuring Dwayne The Rock Johnson as the voice of Crypto the Superdog. And this story is going to involve Mixus Pitlick and the Super Pets. So that's going to be tough for this reader to resist.
Absolutely.
Bobby Timoney on the art. He was years ago in my shop. The Timoney brothers would appear sometimes in my 24-hour comic events.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Great guys.
That's on page 31, DC League of Super Pets, The Great Mixie Up. And then Galaxy the Prettiest Star by Jadzia Axelrod. And I just love that her name is Jadzia, and I wonder if that is actually just straight up named after the Deep Space Nine character, and I certainly think it probably is.
Great character.
Indeed. Yep, page 32, art and color by Jess Taylor as well. And this is another one of the just straight up graphic novels that DC is publishing, not based on any particular DC characters. Takes strength to live as your true self, and a new character in a DCU is about to test her power. Taylor Barzolay's life might seem perfect, but every day is torture. Taylor is actually the galaxy-crowned, an alien princess from the planet Siandi, and one of the few survivors of an intergalactic war. For 6 long, painful years, Taylor has accepted her duty to remain in hiding as a boy on Earth. But that all changes when Taylor meets Metropolis girl Catherine, call me Kat Silverberg, whose confidence is electrifying. Suddenly, Taylor no longer wants to hide, even if exposing her true identity can attract her greatest enemies. Cool concept.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Galaxy the Prettiest Star on page 32. Boy, oh boy, that artwork on the following pages.
Wow.
That is something else. All right, and now we're to the annoying solicitations. All right, let's see. Anything on here worth pointing out? Obviously, Blue and Gold, number 7 of 8. And we got Jaime Reyes. This is a resolicitation, mind you, so we are, I think, a month behind on this one now. But Jurgens and Sook give us Blue, Gold, and Blue.
Speaking of Booster Gold, I just read Human Target number 3. Tom King just nails Booster Gold.
I'm happy to hear it.
All I'll say is he's opened a bagel store, which he's using as a promotional device. It's tremendous.
Oh my God. What's the name of the shop? I have to know.
Let me see if I have the book down here. I do. Okay. I don't have it down here with me. I'm sorry. I don't remember the name of the shop.
No worries. No worries. Next time we speak, if you can just make sure to get that for me, because I'm sure it's a gorgeous pun, and I really hope it is.
Yeah. At one point, he's boasting, much to Skeet's dismay, that his bagel store has pre-toasted bagels.
Oh God! As a New Yorker, I'm disgusted. You only toast your bagel if it's a cinnamon raisin with cream cheese, or it's a day old. That's it. Otherwise, you shouldn't have to toast your bagel.
I agree, sir.
Oh, boy. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see. Again, it's hard for me to just, find something.
I just scroll through.
You got this stuff. I know. I know. It's just come on, DC. Here we are. Looney Tunes 265. It's got ham-fisted karate. I mean, come on.
I'm impressed they've kept that book going this long. Wow.
So cool. It really is. I'm so thrilled that still exists the way it does. Page 39. Yep. Derek Friedolf's art by Robert Pope. And I'm thinking Cobra Kai with Porky Pig, even though it's probably not. And I'll just point out
the covers.
Again, the cover. Nightwing number 90. Gorgeous. Simply gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. And it's a Dick and Wally team up. Always like to see those.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Good stuff. I feel like they may have changed Wally's cowl a little bit, and I'm for it. I like covering the nose. Gives it a nice distinct look.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tom Taylor, and that's on page 40. And then the Nightwing Jonathan Kent crossover concludes. Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 9. Another Tom Taylor book.
Another Bruno Redondo cover, too.
Indeed, on page 41.
Look at that Scooby-Doo Mysteries. Oh.
Now, one of our Comic Geek Street Speak supergroup
I saw that.
Listeners actually got the original by Dario Brizuela and got him to also draw an Earth 2 variant of it. And
that's awesome.
It is so cool.
Yep. Thank you, John, for sharing that in our Facebook supergroup.
Yep. And I'll make sure to link to that on the supergroup when we do actually release this episode. But yeah, page 41. If you love what you see here on the cover for this, just imagine what it would look like with instead of Scooby-Doo and Friends, get some Super Friends action going on. Good stuff.
Yep. And instead of Nightwing, it's Earth 2 Adult Robin, and instead of Kate Kane, it's like Kathy Kane, the Earth 2 Batwoman.
Pretty sure you had Batmite in there.
Oh
my God, yeah, and Human Target. Oof.
The Human Target is now the first book I read when I get my shipment because it's that good.
Yep.
And by the way, the last issue, number 3, also, I wish Shane were with us because it is such a love letter to the Bwaha Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is Booster Gold in it, King has a fantastic time, just kind of using Guy Gardner in it. It's so good.
And that Guy Gardner cover here for Human Target number 6. Oh, so nice. So nice. Well, here we are with the trades. The Bigby trade on page.
I'm glad that's coming out because I missed the first issue, so I was waiting for the trade on that.
Yep, Batman versus Bigby, A Wolf in Gotham. Bill Willingham and Brian Level and Jay Weinstein.
I'll give a field report on that this spring when it comes out.
Mm-hmm. And on the bottom of that page, one of my favorite.
1 million. Wow.
Yes. DC 1 million. One of the best things Grant Morrison did for DC back in the day. That entire event was excellent. And this is the 2022 edition of the Omnibus. And I believe this includes everything, including all of the tie-in issues, because there were some great tie-in issues for that entire DC 1 million event. The Young Justice issue was terrific. That's where Chase.
I feel like there was a Hitman 1 million.
There was, I believe.
Okay. All right.
Yep. And there were, I think there was definitely an Hourman one because, Hourman, I think Hourman originally comes from that time, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's all great stuff. Yep. Page 44. And then Death and Return of Superman Omnibus, the 2022 edition as well.
Oh, keep going.
Page 45. Hey, that was one of the first trades I ever bought, so it's got a special.
I understand.
There's something
it doesn't hold up.
On the bottom of page 45, there's kind of a rarity to be found there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Phantom Stranger Omnibus.
Ooh, Murd, good pick.
Yep, it's a collection of Phantom Stranger stories ranging from the 50s, when the character first appeared, all the way up through the 80s.
Great Jim Aparo cover. Oh,
yep.
Look at that.
And there's bound to be some interior work by Mr. Aparo as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it even includes some issues of Saga the Swamp Thing in there, too, which is always quality. So there are some hard-to-find stories in there of one of DC's most enigmatic characters.
Yep.
And that turtleneck. Ah.
The turtleneck and the medallions.
Yep.
Completes the look, really pulls it all together.
And
something I'm definitely
Tales of the Super Pets.
It is that, yes. Bottom of page 46. Yes, a charming collection of classic Legion of Super Pets stories from the Silver Age, all outlined there. It's 184 pages, 1999, and we're being assured here in the fine print that this is not the final cover dress, which is good because that's kind of an uninspired cover logo. I'm sure DC can do better than that, but doesn't matter what they slap on the cover. It's what's inside that counts. And these are stories that I've always wanted to read and that are a little hard to dredge up, at least affordably. So I'm absolutely going to be picking up.
Streaky. All right.
Yep.
You see it's spelled Tails, Tails, because they're super pets, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Oh my God!
And on the same page, we'll just ignore Shazam to Hell and Back and just keep walking. Just keep walking. Nothing to see here.
Who's Who Omnibus, Murd?
This is best. This is the way. Yes, Volume 2, collecting. Let's see, Who's Who in the Legion, which is a somewhat rare handbook series that they put together there in the late '80s. Who's Who in the DC Universe, number 1 to 16. I'm assuming that's the loose leaf. Binder format one that they came out with in the 90s, and I hadn't even known that this existed. Who's Who Update 1993. I don't think I have those in my collection, but it kind of figures that they'd come up with an update just before Zero Hour came along in 1994 and rendered big swaths of it obsolete.
Yep, good point. Yep, and that is the conclusion to DC's solicitation.
All right.
Let's head over to IDW. Start off with a series that is just so ridiculous it just might work.
Good creative team on that.
It definitely will work.
Oh
The
yeah.
creative team will see to it if nothing else. But yeah, got to figure it's Power Rangers versus a kaiju monster. They're compatible genres. And Cullen Bunn is the writer, and our old friend Freddie E. Williams II as the artist.
Yep.
Kind of irresistible.
Godzilla versus Power Rangers, number 1 of 5 here on 122 with the Toho stamp of approval. Oh man, yeah, and ooh boy, oh my God, looking at the Zords taking on Godzilla there on this stretch cover.
I'll be right back, Jim. I have something to add. I'll be right back.
Right. Yeah, no, please, by all means. Julian Hanshaw also on the very next page, a set of pages on page 124, Free Pass. Huck and Nadia are enjoying their 20s, working in big tech and developing an adventurous sex life. They fantasize about opening their relationship with a free pass to sleep with certain friends or celebrities. It's all good fun, but Huck is leading a double life. Nice. Anybody on audio right now? Chris just went ahead and grabbed his Godzilla with the stick out tongue, and it is delightful.
Right from the 1970s, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
Oh my God.
Good to see you, Gotti.
Indeed.
Same company that brought you the Shogun Warriors toys, if I remember correctly.
As a national election looms, he grows more and more uncomfortable with his company's unelected authority over internet discourse. And when the couple receives a bizarre gift, a cutting-edge humanoid sex AI that can morph into anyone, their worlds of fantasy, trust, and consent are thrown into blissful chaos. Now, when this solicitation started, this was not where I thought it was going. And yet this is where it went, and I'm all for it. This sounds ridiculous on page 124. Free Pass by Julian Hanshaw.
Under the Top Shelf imprint.
Mm-hmm, indeed. Yep. Top Shelf out of IDW. And Gardens, a Smithsonian coloring book for any of you adult coloring book fans on the very next page, 120.
Oh, I got to do it again.
I love when it's so loud, it glitches out the audio.
Yeah, I tried to restrain myself. I don't go too loud there.
No, I know. You got so loud that dogs could hear you. It literally, there was silence when you screamed. It was delightful.
So they did a G.I. Joe collection, I think last month, of classic G.I. Joe stories by Hama. This is now the Cobra equivalent. So I think I'm going to pick this up.
Yep, indeed. Yep, Larry Hama.
100-page comic for $8.
Excellent. 126. And a cover by Freddie Williams on G.I. Joe Real American Hero, number 292 by Larry Hama as well on page 127.
Jeffrey Brown.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good stuff.
I own Unlikely. I don't think I ever got Clumsy or Any Easy Intimacy, but I love Jeffrey Brown stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
This collects all three of those. Loved and Lost, a relationship trilogy on page 128. The official movie prequel to Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The pun that I would have made, so job well done.
You feel so validated, don't you?
I do. Page 130. And 131, Yellow Cab by Benoit Cohen. After 20 years working on film and series shoots, Benoit Cohen is drained. His enthusiasm gone, a desire to stop writing and put down the camera takes over. In the city for a year, he still wonders about how best to absorb the rich diversity of the cosmopolitan metropolis setting. On a simple idea, he will become a taxi driver. Behind the iconic yellow cab, behind a fantasy of freedom and independence, behind the faces of his thousands of passengers, Benoit discovers a world to which he is a stranger.
Is this a memoir?
This is a memoir, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and an autobiographical novel inspired with reflections on the creative process. On page 131, Yellow Cab. I am very intrigued by this.
Beautiful cover. Wow.
Yep, good stuff. And a Star Trek Discovery comic on 132 with its most popular cast member, Grudge the Cat.
The Mirror War stuff they're doing now is excellent.
This
is a one-shot focusing on LaForge, but it's good stuff.
Yep, page 133.
He's in the agony booth.
I always hope some of the Deep Space Nine mirrors will show up since this is TNG era, because that was such a good episode.
And what I want even more is to see some Deep Space Nine characters back on television. But,
Amen. Yep.
I don't know about that.
All right. Let's see anything else here in IDW. Volume 3 of Usagi Yojimbo Origins on 138.
See, Ian, where I lovingly chastised you on Astro City, I should be chastised for not having read Usagi Yojimbo yet at all. So,
yeah, fair enough. And Free Comic Book Day, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just realized that that is pretty much the old school cover, just redone with a new vision. Love that on 142. And that's it with IDW. Onward to Marvel. So we got ourselves a new What If series and a whole bunch of other good stuff this month, featuring the return of Kieran Gillen to the X-Men.
I'm in immediately on this. Anything, because he's dealing with the intrigue of the ruling council. So,
oh yeah, Immortal X-Men.
Definitely reading this.
Oh, beautiful. And Lucas Wernick on the artwork. Mark Brooks did this amazing wraparound cover for it as well.
Lockheed.
Yes. Destiny involved. Ooh, great. In the quiet council, no one can hear you scream. Page 2 and 3 are the solicitations here with some artwork on the following pages of some excellent tie-in variant covers for it and what have you. Very, very, very nice stuff. And as I said, welcome back, Kieran Gillen, to the X-Men. We missed you.
Oh, excuse me.
Page 5 has the X-Men Unlimited Latitude.
Hickman.
Yes. This is the X-Men Unlimited one that I was actually talking about on a Comic Talk that was originally only available in the app for Marvel Unlimited. And now this is a full landscape scrolling comic that's all done in just multiple very long panels with Declan Shelby art, and this is
I'm definitely
so worth your time. It's beautiful. It really is.
Plus, it's got AIM agents in it. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Nightcrawler and Wolverine. It's really, really good. It's on page 5.
God, I always found Omega Red just dreadfully boring.
You and me both.
Yeah.
As stated, the character that was literally created to be a toy, and then they figured out what to do afterwards. New Marauder series coming out with Steve Orlando on the writing, and new team, new villains, new mysteries. As Captain Pride and the Marauders are rededicating themselves to rescuing mutants wherever they may be, and no matter how dangerous the odds against them. But the crew now has to come face to face with the final Marauder, Cassandra Nova. Boy, oh boy. Page 8 for that one. Marauder number 1.
Talk about a character I would not have thought of as redeemable in any way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree. So let's see what the heck they're doing. And Demon Dane's Blood Feud, more Peach Momoko stuff. That's on page 10 and 11.
This looks really fun.
It does, yes. Wolverine Patch number 105.
Larry Hama writing.
Mm-hmm. Hama returning to Wolverine after his X-Men Legends stuff from a little bit earlier. That is
Wolverine's Madripoor days are always fun.
Oh yeah. And Andrea DeVito on the artwork as well.
It's great.
Nice, good classic comic book artwork here. Great cover too. Page 13. And now Captain Carter, Jamie McKelvey on the writing. In Marika Cresta on the artwork. 5-issue miniseries about a woman out of time, all about the Captain Carter that we first found in the What If series, and now we get to learn more about the character here. And Jamie McKelvey on writing is not what we tend to see. We usually see him on artwork, but I really want to see what he throws out there on page 14 here for this 5-issue miniseries. Love the design too. Great cover. Yep.
So we continue to celebrate 30 years of Carnage. We get a new ongoing series on page 16, written by Ram V, who is also writing the current Venom series, art by Francesco Manna. I don't know, the last Carnage ongoing we got was the one written by Jerry Conway, which was basically a 70s Marvel monster as protagonist kind of comic, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. And I will at least give this one a look on the rack.
Yeah, I mean, Ram V is a great writer. I just wish that instead of going with the Blood Curdling Carnage series you've been waiting for and ending it with an exclamation point, they ended it with ... question mark.
Have you been waiting for a Carnage series at all?
I guess we're about to find out.
David Michelini returning to his creation.
You got it. Yep. Venom Lethal Protector, 5-issue mini on page 18 here. Ivan Fiorelli on the artwork too. And
Sienkiewicz very cover.
Oh, man. Sienkiewicz knocking it out of the... Sienkiewicz did a tribute sketch of Bob Saget when he passed. That was just marvelous. If you don't follow him on Facebook, do so, because he posts his artwork all the time, and man, oh man, is he excellent. But yeah, as you said, a return to Venom here for Michelini.
Yep, this one's set in the past, back in the days when Michelini was writing the character more regularly. But with a nod, we're assured by the solicitation here, even though it's taken place in the past, it's going to be with an eye to his current continuity. So it's going to hopefully not contradict anything.
All right. Well, I love the old school cover that they go with here on page 19 too. That's just straight up classic Venom. And now Jed McKay on the writing and Marcelo Ferreira on Strange number 1.
What matters here is that variant cover by one of the all-time great Doctor Strange artists, Frank Brunner. Holy mackerel!
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
God,
yeah, the tarot card. Oof. Good stuff. And Clea is our new Sorcerer Supreme. Let's see what she does.
Great character.
Love the outfit.
Yep.
Page 21 for that cover. Page 20 for the solicitation. And then Jason Aaron
writing the Punisher.
Oof. Man. Jesus Saez on the artwork.
That cover on the left, those eyes, man. Woo!
Yeah,
by Jen Bartel.
Yep.
Great cover.
Jen Bartel really gets the Punisher there. But will the Punisher's war end?
Oh, stop.
That is the question. The answer is no. No, it will not.
No, it won't.
Yep.
Yeah, the concept here is the Punisher as the head of the Ninjas of the Hand, which really doesn't sound like a Frank Castle kind of move.
Maybe it'll be better, though, than the Punisher as an angel.
I was just going to draw that comparison, Chris.
Anything is better than the Punisher as an angel.
That was a weird period. Boy.
Yeah, that was the period of Daredevil's armor and Captain America's armor, and oof, boy oh boy, it was weird.
I think props though when Garth Ennis began his legendary run on the Punisher and Welcome Back Frank, he actually did acknowledge in his thought balloon that he had actually had this dalliance as an angel.
Oh my god, this is a really cool concept here.
Yes, it is.
This what if series here. What if Miles Morales number 1 of 5, and each issue of this 5-issue mini will explore a different what if scenario for Miles Morales, by Cody Ziegler on the writing and Paco Medina on artwork. Great team.
Great.
Terrific. And we start off with Friendly Neighborhood Captain America. What if Miles had never been bitten by an enhanced spider and became Spider-Man? What if instead the U.S. government recruited, trained, and granted him incredible powers with the super soldier serum? That's a different Miles Morales for you. Page 24 for that one. And we get more of the new Iron Fist on page 26, teaming with the old Iron Fist. Beautiful Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Return of Johnny Blaze, right? Yeah.
Yep. Page 27 for that one. Covered by Kyle New. And Gwenverse continues as we see Gwen Thor. Beautiful. Now here's something more. Savage Spider-Man by Joe Kelly on page 29. Spider-Man has gone from friendly neighborhood to terrifyingly jungle. All right, cool. And Baron Zemo's involved. Now we conclude the Beyond era with this month.
Oh, Daughters of the Dragon.
Yep, page 31 gives us Amazing Spider-Man number 92. And we get Monica Rambeau in 92 Bay as Beyond nears its conclusion here. And the big finale of Beyond is in Amazing Spider-Man number 93 with Zeb Wells and Patrick Gleason. And we don't know what's going to happen after this, but we do know one thing, and that is next month we will be discussing Amazing Spider-Man number 1 by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. That's how we celebrate 60 years, bringing JR Jr. back to the title.
I have no problem with that.
And gratuitously renumbering the flagship title.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm sure they'll also then renumber it as 901 or something like that. Like, we're going to get there, definitely. Yep. Page 33 for the conclusion there, and Miles on the following page. And then Venom on 35, and then more Ben Reilly's Spider-Man action with J.M. DeMatteis and David Baldeon, which I'm still all for on page 36.
No, it's DeMatteis. My God, come on.
Terrific.
Yeah, I'm a little excited about the artist, too. And I've always liked the Carolyn Traynor female Dr.
You always were a fan of her, yep.
Yep. And I especially enjoyed her in Into the Spider-Verse. Or at least the version that they went with. Wasn't quite Carolyn Traynor, but it was still Lady Doc.
Oh, God, a classic.
Beautiful. Roger Stern facsimile cover on 38. of the amazing
J.R. Jr.'s early Spider-Man work.
Beautiful.
The Hobgoblin.
Shadow of Evil's Past.
One of the all-time great legacy villains.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Even his origin is a legacy because they went ahead and named who it was like 3 times.
I picked up issues 1 and 2 of Devil's Reign because it's Darsky, so our next comic talk I'll have read them by then and discuss them.
Yep, sounds good. As it concludes here on page 41 with issues 5 and 6. I need to find Devil's Reign Superior 4, issue 1. Because, again, the concept of just, Doc Ock getting a team of Doc Ocks together through the multiverse is just freaking cool.
Well, just came out this week, so it should still be on shelves.
Yep, I will track that down. Then Devil's Reign Moon Knight
that's a great cover.
Oh, terrific. By Jed McKay and Federico Sabatini on page 40.
We should be getting a Moon Knight series this year on television with one of my favorite actors.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All those release dates are still TBD, but should be, if not this year, then early next year, because they've got, I know Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk are happening this year.
Okay.
Just depends on when they're done with Moon Knight. Look at that cover there, too, for Devil's Reign X-Men number 3 of 3. Beautiful.
Goop.
Yes.
Or Dupe, whatever his name was.
Yeah, you say Goop, I say Dupe. That's
it's Dupe, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent number 2. Still very, very happy to see this concept back because the Ecstatics were great. Even when they were fighting with the original X-Force, when they were still called X-Force, over whether or not they could still use the name.
Remember there was a time where you couldn't open a comic without seeing Sabretooth? I don't miss that time.
Well, let's see what happens here. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right for the most part. Yeah. Judgment Day is coming, however, in X-Men number 9 by Jerry Duggan and Javier Pina. I don't think good things are going to happen. And Fantastic Four, Reckoning War, Trial of the Watcher by Dan Slott.
Look at that creative team.
Beautiful. Page 49. Man, that cover too. Oof.
By the way, Ian, I did read Fantastic Four Life Story number 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you what you said about the progression of the story in that book. I'm really interested to see how they're going to deal with that in the next issue.
Yep, so. Same here. It's going to make or break it for me, honestly, because it was so good up until then, and then so fast.
One punch.
Yep, literally one punch man.
Yeah.
And then will you watch as our universe burns? Fantastic Four number 41. That's on page 50.
Don't look up.
Don't look up. Now, Hulk Grand Design, Monster number 1, written and drawn by Jim Rugg. Look at this variant cover by Ed Piskor on page 52.
Wow.
Damn.
That's great.
That is an excellent combo of...
the saliva on that tongue. Woo.
Beautiful. Harkening back to that excellent McFarlane cover.
Yep. And the hook of the Grand Design series is taking a visionary independent creator and having him or her retell graphically the full history of a character, in his or her own terms, just kind of picking and choosing whichever stories that creator sees fit and considers most important.
Mm-hmm.
Just placing it however the creator wants. And we're told here that Ed Piskor already has done that at some length with the X-Men and X-Men Grand Design. And here's Jim Rugg, indie creator whom we have met here at CGS. He produced graphic novels, including one called Aphrodisiac that I thought was pretty cool. It's got a real blaxploitation flair to it. And here he's bringing his talents to Hulk. And I am surely on board for that.
Most definitely. Speaking of Hulk number 5, Donny Cates and Ryan Otley. Smash Astronaut, part 5 of 6.
I'm still waiting with eager anticipation for my final Immortal Hulk trade. So,
yep, and Judgment Day is coming all over the place. So I don't know what that's going to lead to, but like I said, I don't think it's going to be good. The Return of the Goddesses of Thunder on page 57 for Avengers Forever #4. Alti, Elisive, and Frigg are the granddaughters of old King Thor.
That's right.
Last seen during Jason Aaron's Thor run. Now the Goddesses of Thunder are back sailing the wild cosmic seas, chasing the thunder that echoes across universes and hunting for fallen heroes.
Aaron's Thor run was tremendous. Oh, so good.
Now here he is bringing his creations back on 57. Final issue here of Captain America Iron Man #5 on the very next page, 58. And the final Alex Ross cover for it, and it is a doozy. 59 as Women of Marvel, and the cover for that is such a beautiful pinup. Boy, oh boy. Mirka Adolfo on that 59. It's a nice confluence of creators as well, taking on the Women of Marvel. Jack of Hearts.
Jack of Hearts. Wow.
She-Hulk #3.
Yep, that definitely got my attention. Says here,
wasn't he dead?
He's been dead a couple of times.
Okay.
Avengers disassembled.
Right. He blew up. Yeah.
But here he's going to help She-Hulk resolve a dangling plot thread going back to 1989.
Wow.
Okay.
There's a couple reasons to be interested in this issue.
In the meantime, a smashing return, guest stars, the funniest, sexiest book on the stands. They'll be the judge of that. Oh, look, Judgment Day is coming. It's like, is it not here yet?
First, let's discuss the first issue of Silver Surfer Rebirth when we get it into our eager hands.
Most definitely. Here's issue 3 of 5 on 63. 54, great Iron Man cover yet again by Alex Ross.
I just read the last 2 issues. Again, this is easily one of the greatest Iron Man runs in the character's history.
Oh yeah,
he's like Cantwell is really exploring Tony Stark in a way that I don't think he's ever done before. It's masterful stuff.
Amen. More Jed McKay Moon Knight on page 65, issue 9 of that. Great variant by Martin Simmons with the Moon Knight in the suit. I always liked that costume. Moving things down. Great black cover.
Oh wow!
Black Widow covers continue. This one, Black Widow 15. Whew.
Adam Hughes.
Enough said, right? 70, page 70 for that one. King Conan continues, father versus son. King Conan #4 of 6 on 74. Jason Aaron again.
New Star Wars Han Solo and Chewbacca series.
Yeah.
Mark Guggenheim writing.
Indeed. Yep. And David Messina on the artwork.
It's set before the original Star Wars movie, and it's Han, Chewie, and Greedo going on a mission to get the job of the
All right.
That's a must-buy for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. 76.
Oh, it's in an ongoing series too.
Oh man, and the following like old school novel cover they have here.
It's great.
On 77 is
It's
just
fabulous.
So yep. And the Halcyon Legacy has another great cover to go with it on the very next page. And anybody who has not delved into Miles Morales, here is another opportunity to do so. On page 84, Miles Morales Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1. Get a whole bunch of Miles Morales history here from the Ultimate Comics and from afterwards as well. Miles is a terrific character, and Bendis did a wonderful job on him while he was on it, with some great pencilers go around with it. Sarah Pacelli, Chris Somney, David Marquez, Pepe Larraz, All great stuff. And then volume 2 on the very next page, page 85. Don't think we really needed an extreme X-Men omnibus. Because they're extreme.
I guess Chris Claremont thought we did.
Yep.
Well, I hope he gets some royalties out of it.
He should.
My favorite thing about this series, and again, it's on page 86. If you want to check it out, check it out. My favorite thing about this series is that Beast is in it for like 1.5 issues because Chris Claremont really wanted to use Beast, but that was right when Grant Morrison got on the book, and Beast didn't look like that anymore.
No.
So they essentially got, that Beast for like an issue and a half, and he's like, I'm gonna go head back to the regular X-Men, and he was never. So it goes. Avengers versus X-Men Omnibus on page 87. It was a pretty good story.
It was solid. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
It's been a long time.
Indeed. Yep. And if you're looking for the Heroes Reborn story that Jason Aaron told, that's all on page 88. Nice reprintings as well of Star Wars Legends, the New Republic omnibus, page 89.
Now here's a great series.
Oh yeah, X Factor.
God.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Read it all back in the day. Terrific stuff. Yep, page 90. And then into the multiverse we go with a whole bunch of classic what if. This is the 80s series.
Yep.
It's the one that I know the best because, this was coming out right when I was first starting out. This collects What If from 1988, number 1, and then the continuing series 1 through 39, then Quasar number 30. I wonder why Quasar number 30 is in there. Maybe the Timekeepers. I'm assuming.
Yeah. I'm reading reading actually for the most part. It's my first experience with a lot of these issues of the old Grunwald Quasar run. I haven't quite gotten up to number 30 yet, though. I'm as far as number 25. So I can't answer the question, but he did do some tripping into alternate realities. So that's eventually he visited the new universe, in fact.
Oh, wow. I'll assume it does have something to do with the Timekeepers, because I was discussing this, I think, on a comic timing episode, that one of the weirdest things that What If did in that 80s series was actually have a quote-unquote crossover where the Timekeepers were messing with the Watchers, and that was a whole thing going on while What If stories were being told. So like it would break in the middle of an issue. We'd have a whole thing with the Timekeepers, and then we'd go back to what if Wolverine was Lord of the Vampires. Like it was just so disconnected from everything. That's what I'm guessing is probably the case.
Huh.
Yep. Oh, this was a great series.
Yeah, the Ultimates.
I really enjoy the Ultimates.
Yeah, it's certainly of its time.
It's very much of its time, but there was such a gritty, dramatic just attitude to it. I really enjoyed it.
Now, can I mention that Marvel really needs a copywriter, and they really need somebody to proofread their own copy, written by Mark Miller.
Oh,
Miller instead of Millar, which it says right there.
I love an exasperated Levinstein.
Come on, guys, you're killing me with this. Read your own stuff. Come on.
Yep, it would set Jamie D's vein a throbbing too.
That's on page 92, and yeah, it is great stuff. And honestly, we wouldn't have a lot of the Avengers movie without the Ultimates. So, yep.
But then there's this.
Yes, and speaking of Jamie D,
so if you're a Fantastic Four fan, if you're interested in the team, and you've never read the John Byrne run, I mean, one of the greatest arcs in the entire history of the title. If you love, the Lee Kirby, the Byrne stuff is, lovingly inspired by it. Highest recommendation.
Absolutely.
And you go back to we did an FF spotlight actually years back of the Byrne era, actually.
Also including pieces in this omnibus by Marv Wolfman, Bill Mantlo, Stan Lee, and Roger Stern.
Oh,
Airwolf by Night on 95.
Right, just pause there for a minute, would you, honey?
Oh, of course.
Again, I love all the Marvel 70s monster titles. We did a spotlight on that some years back too, the Marvel monsters. But the Jack Russell werewolf stuff by especially by Mike Plug and is Doug Monk in there? He should be. No.
They don't list.
Oh no, he's not on the title yet at this point. Okay, he wrote the bulk of the title, but
came along a little bit later.
Yeah. Just it's so much fun, and Neil Adams did the cover of the first issue in the old Marvel Spotlight series. I love those big fat 70s belt buckles. Good stuff.
Oh, yes, indeed. All right. Scroll down a little bit further, see if there's anything on the bottom here. They are collecting the Treasury edition of Demon Days. So anyone, it's always so gorgeous when they show the art that Peach Momoko has been doing for this series, and it's her own unique take on X-Men characters. And page 102 has the Treasury edition trade paperback of her first Demon Days stuff. Well worth your time if you're interested.
I think Murd might want to comment on page 113 once we get there.
Yep, he probably will. But how about this Amazing Fantasy Treasury edition by Carrie Andrews? I mean, we'd been seeing. I mean, I definitely want to read Amazing Fantasy in full, but this is a full Treasury edition of issues 1 through 5, and then Amazing Fantasy Prelude Infinity Comic #1 thrown in there as well for good measure. If anything deserves it, I think it's this, because it looks so gorgeous from everything that I've seen of it. So definitely need to give it a read. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I will probably just scroll straight down to 113 unless there's anything before then, gents. Here we are, 113 it is. Mm-hmm. Defenders, there are no rules.
Mm-hmm. This is the collection of the recent 5-issue Al Ewing and Javier Rodriguez Defenders miniseries, and just buy it. Just go ahead. It's classic cosmic Marvel insanity.
Yep.
It's only a 5-issue canvas that Ewing and Rodriguez have to work with, but they spatter it with so many great nods to Marvel history and continuity, just past continuities too. I mean, it's a trip to, I think it's the 6th cosmos. It's the universe preceding the Marvel universe. They team up with Galactus's mother, who is who's like a lawkeeper there, and it's kind of a nod to the old 90s Secret Defenders series, in that Doctor Strange digs out his tarot deck and he puts together a more or less random team of defenders to help him on this mission, including Betty Ross Banner as the Red Harpy, the Silver Surfer, Cloud from the new Defenders series in the 80s, and a new character called the Masked Raider, who wears the Eternity Mask.
Yes.
Ooh.
Eternity.
Crafted from a piece of the essence of the personification of the Marvel Universe himself. Eternity. And they just go on this rollicking adventure through time and space, and it's great fun. And if you're a fan of cosmic Marvel and the kind of wackiness that Steve Gerber used to write in the old days, read this trade. Chris will back me up.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Galactus's mom. Okay. Reign of X volume 7 here. That I do like that they do this still at this point. Way of X #2, Cable 11 through 12, and Children of the Atom 4 through 5 here. If you want Cy Spurrier, Jerry Duggan, and Vita Ayala's take on the X line. And then we go down to an epic collection of J.M. DeMatteis, Todd DeZago, Scott Lobdell, John Francis Moore, Kurt Busiek, Fabian Nicieza, and a whole bunch others in X Factor. This was after Peter David left the book. And shortly after Jamie Madrox died at the time of the legacy virus, he got better. You know, shock of shocks. Somebody who could make duplicates of himself didn't straight up die of the legacy virus. But page 115, this is a whole era of X Factor that I'm not really that familiar with. And good creators on it, so I assume it's got to be good stuff. Plus, great artwork from, you know, a whole bunch of people that wanted to do great things afterwards. Brian Hitch, Matt Broom, Pat Broderick, Tony Daniels.
Jan Durson was already a great artist at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Steve Epting.
Yep.
Good stuff.
This is an interesting collection. People often may forget that the great Bill Mantlo really explored the inner tormented psyche of the Hulk in these stories from the 1980s. And I think this is where some of the stuff with the Hulk's father was first introduced, if I remember correctly. Right, Murd?
Chris, yes.
Yeah.
Just before
So if you're
David got his hands on it,
right.
Mantlo laid the groundwork.
So if you're a Hulk fan, these are important stories.
Especially a Mortal Hulk fan, for that matter.
Yeah, good point.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. And some more Tales of the Jedi stuff, some more She-Hulk epic collections, if you're a fan of the Byrne run. Englehart's Silver Surfer on page 119.
Great stuff.
Yep.
Oh, the Galactic Storm.
Yep. New printing of the epic collection.
Read that in years.
On 120. Yep. Gruenwald action.
Oh, the classic Bronze Age Ghost Rider.
Right. This is the beginnings of Johnny Blaze from Marvel Spotlight on.
Late Gary Friedrich writing.
Yep. Page 121 for that one. Marvel Spotlight 5 through 12. Ghost Rider 1 through 11. And Marvel Team Up number 15. All in that tome. Can I say how much I like Thor's new logo? I really dig how
it's a great logo.
Like how heavy metal it is.
Yeah.
Yep, and this is the complete collection of that.
Aaron Run, which is essential reading.
Mm-hmm. And Jane Foster Thor on the very next page, 123. She'll be playing a big part in the movies soon. Now, 125, Black Panther Legends. This is a graphic novel written by Tochi Onyebuchi and Nick Stone. It dives into the legacy of Black Panther in this new origin story by acclaimed author Tochi Onyebuchi and New York Times bestselling illustrator Seitor Fiabizi. T'Challa and Hunter are brothers growing up in Wakanda's idyllic royal palace. Theirs transcends the usual sibling rivalry. However, Hunter, although older, is adopted, and T'Challa is the true heir to the throne. It takes a brand new.
What's great here is that they're taking stuff from the Priest run because he created Hunter the White Wolf,
right?
Who's a fascinating character in the legendary Priest runs. Interesting to see what they do with that here.
Yeah, and this collects all 4 issues of that Black Panther Legends on 125.
Oh, Murd, look at that. Cap's Kooky Quartet.
Yes, indeed.
That's it. Nope, Michael Cho on the.
No one does Silver Age tributes better than Michael Cho. Look at that.
Beautiful.
God.
Beautiful. Yep. 125. If you ever wanted to know more about said Kooky Quartet, this is the way to do it. And that's also the way to end the Marvel solicitations and head back to previews.
Gentlemen, I must regret that I must tap out at this point.
Oh, by all means, I'm glad you stuck with us as long as you could, sir.
You bet, brother. I wish I could stay longer, but it's been a long day and the dawn beckons.
Nope. By all means. By all means. Bye,
my friends.
Have a good night.
I'll talk to you both soon. Good night, brothers. Actually, hold on. Before I leave, let me hear Godzilla can say goodbye too.
Okay. See you later. Tongues out.
Good night, fellas. Ciao.
Good night, Chris.
All right. Well, Murd, it's just you and I.
Mm-hmm. Yep, back in the dual saddle again.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and just in time for Dynamite and Dynamite.
Never dies.
Fred Van Lente, thank you for the pun. It's a gem of the month on page 145 as Dynamite starts their cross-company zombie crossover with even more undead mayhem.
Even more of it, of course. Oh, this time we've got Tarzan fighting zombie dinosaurs. Well, why not?
I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't happened before. Seems like a thing.
Yep, it's the idea was right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, if you're a fan of zombies, they've got you covered all over the place. The Dynamite Lives trade paperback is also available on 148, also written by Van Lente, with a great Ash from Evil Dead and Army of Darkness cover there for you. So yeah, zombies out the wazoo, baby. That's it. Groovy, baby. More Betty Page, The Alien Agenda.
Okay.
Those are words that I don't think I was ever expecting to say.
I didn't think that Betty Page would ever have an agenda that involved aliens.
Well, surprise. And it involves Area 51 of all things. And guess what? Betty Page is on the case.
I feel safer already.
Absolutely.
Thank goodness she's on our side.
Amen. Artist Color. That's the name of the artist. Color.
Okay.
Unless that's an E. Like, let me zoom in further. You know what? Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, good. Turns out it's just the PDF, but that's also a really bad font. So Sealor is the artist. My apologies. Your name is not Color. But the writer is definitely Anna Mia. That much I didn't get wrong. Page 151. I think that's all I have to say about Dynamite, quite frankly.
Yep, all I'm buying this month from them is whatever Priest is writing.
Excellent. All right. Getting out of Dynamite. A lot more Dynamite this month than usual. Jeez, come on. Get me out of there. Get me out of there fast. Come on.
Well, I think part of it is that you enlarged the page so that we could read Sealor's name properly.
That is an excellent point. And
there we go.
Voila. They're still there.
Yes.
All right, let's start it off with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer 25th anniversary special over at Boom, page 184. Jeremy Lambert, Sarah Galley, Lila Sturgis, Danny Moore, Casey Gilly, whole bunch of illustrators involved. And just like the last time around with the Free Comic Book Day issue, this is going to be dealing with all 25 years of Buffy. Where in the multiverse is Buffy, and what's happened to the Scooby Gang? It's a epilogue to Boom Studios' acclaimed first 3 years of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So it looks like we're going to get multiple Buffy realities involved here, including the reboot, the original, whatever they could throw at us on page 184. Then issue 4 on page 186 of The Last Vampire Slayer, which I'll probably be picking up in trade. Okay. I got a new Jim Henson's The Storytellers, this time Shapeshifters, number 1 on page 192. Andre R. Fertino and Nori Rutherford involved this time around as the Ringo Award-winning anthology returns.
Coming out through the Archaea imprint, which has found a home at Boom, just as Top Shelf has at IDW. Just generally nice to see anything with the Henson name and brand on it getting published.
Certainly. Yep. No question. And absolutely stunning artwork to go with it. Was that the Dune Tales from Arakeen on 198? If you want to uncover the untold stories of the Battle of Arakeen, this is where you can do so. Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson on the writing chores, and Adam Gorham and Jacob Rebelka on the artwork. Further into the world of Dune, and the second Dune movie has officially been greenlit. So it is
okay.
It is indeed moving forward, which is good because now we won't just have half a movie.
Right. Yeah. Would have been a little awkward to have to settle for half of a book having been adapted into a movie.
I agree wholeheartedly, sir. Sarah Ailey, page 202, has Eat the Rich, stricken by the cover, and that's why I'm here. Welcome to Crestfall Bluffs. With law school and her whole life ahead of her, Joey plans to spend the summer with her boyfriend Astor at his seemingly perfect family home. But beneath all the affluent perfection lies a dark, deadly rot, something all the locals live in quiet fear of. As summer lingers, Joey uncovers the macabre history of Crestfall Bluffs and the ruthlessness and secrecy lying in wait behind the idyllic lives of the 1%. Nice horror book here.
Mm-hmm. Horror and social commentary are just densely interwoven.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And very vibrant colors on the artwork. I'll say that much. Really makes everything pop. Artwork is on page 203. Solicitation was on 202. Second volume of Al Ewing's We Only Find Them When They're Dead is solicited here. And this one, if you have not picked up volume 1, it is still available. I know that. And here's volume 2 in softcover here for you on page 204.
Very good.
Okay, that's it for Boom for me. And onward we go to the rest of the rest of the.
Mm-hmm.
And for the rest of the, I'm jettisoning the wireless mouse and just plain old scrolling with my fingers because it goes faster. All right. Now I'm actually going to also turn to the Facebook and see if there's anything on here that I can get us. There were a few solicitations that Malachi Ward mentioned, but they don't have page numbers attached to them, so I'm going to do my best to try to find them, and if not, I'll just go off of what he says, mention them at the end of the solicitations here.
I've got one of them earmarked already.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. Well, 212 has Tales of the City. And this is Armistead Maupin and Isabel Bothian. And this is going to be a Netflix series. Classic LGBTQ literature that's become a cult sensation. The heroes of this enchanting tale have been enjoyed by millions of readers worldwide. Adapted by the BBC on TV, and now in limited series on Netflix. And now here we are in graphic novel form. All based in San Francisco. Barbary Lane. Anna Madrigal runs a boarding house. She welcomes people who have nowhere else to go, the misfits. This matriarch is known for her unending kindness and her superb marijuana crop. The novel starts with the arrival of Mary Ann Singleton, a prudish, naive young woman who escapes her dual Ohio hometown for San Francisco, settles in with her other fellow tenants, and hijinks go from there. Yep. So, again, soon to be a Netflix series on page 212, Tales of the City.
Okay. If it's been adapted multiple times to other media, it must have something good to offer.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. And Terry Moore's Serial gets an omnibus on page 214. So if you want it all in one place, now you can do so. Advent Comics has Miskatonic High by Mike Shea and Ryan Mendoza. 5 teens take on tentacled monsters in their small town high school. They're just not sure which is worse. That's a good enough solicitation for me. That sounds pretty cool. The Buffy-esque action, basically, on page 218.
Further described as the bastard love child of John Hughes and H.P. Lovecraft and the Breakfast Club from Hell. That gets the point across.
Mm-hmm. To say the least. Once again on 218, Mike Shea's Miskatonic High.
Right above that, there's something else from Franco Aureliani, Peach in the Isle of Monsters.
Ah.
Something with a bit of a Japanese flavor. A young girl who is rumored to have been born from a peach, who is persecuted and run out of her village, and she has to go up to where the wild things are, an island populated with monsters who kind of look like they stepped out of Japanese folklore. And this is written by Franco Aureliani of Art and Franco, with art by Agnes Garbowska of the My Little Pony comics.
Nice. Good stuff. We Live, Age of the Palladians?
Palladians, yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that for some reason those letters together was just the largest tongue twister for me, and I just couldn't get it out. We Live, Age of the Palladians, #1, Black. Inaki and Roy Miranda out of Aftershock, page 220. And this is all so much story packed into a single issue, according to them, as we start a story set in the year 2090. 6 years have passed since Salvation Day, when the Palladians, with their majestic powers, emerged as the protectors of humanity, saving the 5 remaining megalopolis and securing the future of the human species. But nothing stays, and the horizon always brings a new storm. Want to know what that storm is? Read about it on page 220.
And then read about it again, but slightly different, on page 222.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This one's just black and white. Oh, no, it's full color. This one's white. Oh, I get it. Black and white. Okay.
Yeah. I can't quite make up my mind here if this is the same issue, just colored differently, or if it's actually 2 different stories.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. I think it is just colored differently, because honestly, this is black and it has the exact same solicitation, pretty much. And then you get to here on page 222, and it's the exact same image, just colored with the whites instead of the blacks. Huh. Fascinating. All right. Well, somebody's gonna have to pick up both of them and let us know whether what they think, and which one they prefer, and maybe they'll then just mash them both together and see if you get full color that way. I don't know.
Or maybe it'll just equal out to We Live, Age of the Palladians, #1, gray.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Page 224, triple play with a gorgeous gatefold cover by Andre Bresson, representing 3 classic Aftershock stories offered together for the first time. On page 224 there, and it's worth it for the wraparound alone, because that is stunning work. Good stuff. Marguerite Bennett, Elton Tomasi, Cullen Bunn, Antonio Fuso, and the Miranda brothers all involved with this Aftershock triple play. Ron Mars, Almost American, solicited the trade paperback edition of it, issues 1 through 5, and this is on sale on April 6th, 2022, on page 232. We mentioned it on the show. Ron mentioned it himself on the show when he was on a couple of months back. And here is that trade paperback collection out of Aftershock if you want to learn more about it.
Inspired by real people and events, and somewhat reminiscent of the FX original series, The Americans.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
All right. Now, here on page 237,
mm-hmm.
under Ahoy Comics, I must ask you all to ignore for the moment that image of Snelson Comedy is Dying there, because it does not describe the excellent and noteworthy comic solicited next to it.
Good point.
It's a one-shot from the world of Tom Pyre and Jamal Eigel's The Wrong Earth. It's The Wrong Earth Trapped on the Teen Planet one-shot, first of 5 unique one-shots building and expanding on the world of The Wrong Earth by some of the biggest names in comics. The first issue is written by Gail Simone, with art by Bill Morrison of Bongo Comics fame. He's written his share of Simpsons comic stories, with cover by, unfortunately not shown here, by our friend Jamal. And it's basically the Archie meets the Punisher crossover, just using the Wrong Earth's characters. It's the grim and gritty Dragonfly from Earth Omega crosses over to an Archie-like world. Will he corrupt it, or will it corrupt him? That's the question that's going to be answered by this one-shot, which is a must-have for me, certainly, for a couple of reasons.
Yep. Well, if anybody did indeed want to see what it looks like, here it is on display for any of you folks who are indeed watching the stream. This is what the full color Jamal Igle cover looks like, and I'm a little disappointed it's not there in previews, but I guess mistakes happen.
They do. Also, there will be variant covers available by Dan Parent, who is an Archie Comics artist OG, and also by Gene Ha, the master, as Chris called him earlier in this episode.
Mm-hmm. And he is. Then on that same page there, Amaze Inc. / Slave Labor Graphics gives us Seven Oaks, a graphic novel by Kevin Sacco. This takes place in the summer of 1966, where Kevin Sacco himself learns that his family is moving from New York City to London, and that he'll be attending Seven Oaks, a traditional boarding school in the English countryside. First considered a Yank outsider with limited academic or sports acumen, Sacco gradually comes to experience and understand this life of rugby, cold showers, new friendships, and discipline. So nice slice of life story there as Kevin Sacco puts his life down on the page. Word. Oh, look, back to American mythology, listing writers as various and artists as various on page 240, just so that they get themselves back on track.
Yeah. Hate to see them set the dangerous precedent of actually mentioning creators by name, but
sure.
But in fairness to them, those are collections. So
no, I know. But come on, put the extra work in. Come on. Love the cover here for Exciting Comics number 22. Very old school superhero action going on there.
Oh yeah,
45.
Yep, right down to the title. Harkens back to the Golden Age.
Yes, it does.
And it's got some work in there by our friend Dan Sane of Argo Comics.
Ah, nice. And the Betty and Veronica Friends Forever Power Ups #1 is NES-tastic, and I'm all for it. Watching Betty and Veronica essentially become Mario and Luigi grabbing stars and rings. That's good stuff.
Yep. And it's the content is video game related too, including an all new lead story.
Nice. All there on page 246.
Yep, giving us plenty of classic Archie here as we gear up for the new, more contemporary styled series they're going to be launching in a few months.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Isla to Island, out of Athenium Books for Young Readers. That's on page 251. Alexis Castellanos is the writer-artist on this one. And it's all about Marisol, who loves her colorful home in Cuba, with its vibrant people and food and flowers that she picks with her family on the way to the library. But Cuba is changing, and it isn't long before the home she once knew is no longer safe. Then her parents announce it's no longer her home at all, and they're sending her to the United States alone. Suddenly, Marisol's world is devoid of the color it once was so full of, as she begins a new life in cold, gray Brooklyn. Yep, good old cold, gray Brooklyn.
Yeah, I can see how that would strike a chord with you.
Uh-huh, definitely. And also just in general, the coming from one place to another. That story, when done right, is very thoughtful and meaningful to a lot of people, and I think this may very well be the case here with Isleta Island on page 251. Mm-hmm. Don't buy the invincible action figures. Don't buy the invincible action figures. Okay, moving forward. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay, yeah, let's move on then. Page 258 under AWA. This is something that was recommended by our friend Chris Murin on our Facebook page. It's called Hit Me. It's a new series by Krista Faust and Priscilla Petraitis. And it's about a woman who works as, basically a BDSM dom. She's paid to beat people up. It's I think there's kind of an erotic subtext there. She accidentally witnesses a gangland murder of one of her clients and finds herself in possession of a case of stolen diamonds, and she's forced to flee into the dark heart of decaying early 90s Atlantic City. And then there's the Chris Murin hook, because he, like me, is familiar with South Jersey. He's spent a lot of years of his life there. And that's what piques my interest in this story as well. The setting, as much as anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, Atlantic City's gone through some hard times. Hard times.
And they've just recently announced the construction of a brand new, more family-friendly water park. That's to be located within walking distance of the casinos along the beachfront.
Okay. All right.
So they're hoping that's going to bring new life and new viability to the city, but, I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm still disappointed that there was this restaurant that I happened to find, out of pure coincidence, the last time I was at Anime Next, and it has since closed, mostly due to the pandemic, and I think almost everything inside of that one complex it was in also closed. It was like a indoor mall type thing on the boardwalk. So yeah, that's the state of Atlantic City right now, unfortunately.
Yes, it had a great many problems even before the pandemic hit, and things have certainly not gotten better since. So
no.
Just see if this water park actually helps to turn things around.
Yep.
And in the meantime, we can read this story about even seedier days of Atlantic City 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And like the looks of it, a great cover and great creative team. 258. Page 265. It's Stargirl, but without the A's. So it's like Stargirl. And enter the vibrant world of Stargirl, an episodic and oversized series created by award-winning artist Lucas Mendanca. The cosmic organization known as, all right, I'm not going to say it again, Stargirl no longer exists, as violent galactic forces pose a threat to the integrity of the galaxy as a whole. Someone has to step up to save all of humanity. Enter the Moon Gang. They say this is for fans of Paper Girls, Saga, Wicked and the Divine, and other sci-fi adventure tales. And each issue includes concept art, character studies, and more. That's on page 265.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Stargirl. Right. Say it as if your jaw were wired shut, and maybe you won't get sued.
No. This has nothing to do with DC Stargirl. We promise. We completely promise.
Yeah. The concept doesn't sound like it has anything to do with Stargirl, but
No,
if you look at the design of the main character, you can kind of see an echo of Courtney Whitmore in there.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's certainly its own unique thing.
Sure.
Kind of looks a little almost Brian Lee O'Malley inspired, actually.
I can see that, yeah.
Speaking of which, looks like there's going to be yet another adaptation of Scott Pilgrim versus the World coming our way, as they're making an anime series with Brian Lee O'Malley at the creator helm.
That's perfect, actually. Yep. That's gonna just beat the pants off Michael Cera, I'm positive.
Well, luckily, some of the movie people are going to be involved with it as well. But not voices, I'm sure, but the creators behind the movie will be involved with the making of it. And that I'm A-okay with.
Yeah, I would like to see that when it arrives.
I will let you know. It should be coming to Netflix at some point, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, on 269, we've got a trade edition of the recent White miniseries from writer Kwanzaa Osagyefo and artist our friend Jamal Igle again. This is a sequel to the previous miniseries Black, which introduces us to a world in which only black people have superpowers. And White gets even a little more satirical with the concept and kind of shows what happens when the white entrenched political establishment strikes back at the black superpowered individuals. And I was unable to track down a single one of the 5 issues of that miniseries, so this trade paperback is going to need to go in my cart because I would like to read it.
Okay, well, yeah, then yeah, this is for you, sir. And for anybody really, because the Black series was excellent, and I'd love to give White a go. Okay, moving further down past the Cat Girls and the Valkyries. Let's see what else we got. Let's go to 278. The Fortune of the Windclaves, Volume 1, Vanco 1848, the graphic novel. This is Jean Van Ham and Philippe Berthet. Along with the name Winch, Largo Windsclave inherited a colossal fortune. But where did it come from? Who built his vast empire? What sacrifices proved necessary? 1848, in Ottoman-occupied Montenegro, young Dr. Vanko Wisklav is one of the leaders of a popular uprising. Betrayed, wanted by the authorities, he flees the Balkans for the United States in the company of a Bulgarian refugee, Veska, whom he marries to allow her to enter New York legally. So begins the history of a family entwined with that of a still new country going through many transformations. Sounds super cool.
Interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How many times can you remember reading the words Ottoman-occupied Montenegro in a solicitation for anything?
Not very often.
Nope, not a whole lot.
Yep, I counted on one hand, and that one hand is formed in a 0.
Right.
Yep. Good stuff. That's once again on page 278, and it's a full graphic novel, so you get the full story right there. Girls Heist Out graphic novel. That's on 284 by Darby Pop Publishing. Rob Weiland on the writing there, and Manuela Soriani on the artwork. Julia and Adrian Price are white-collar crime's premier power couple. When Adrian leaves Julia holding the bag, she assembles a crew of accomplished women to exact delicious revenge. Forget divorce. Julia's going to steal everything Adrian ever wanted right out from under her perfectly resculpted nose. Once again, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Page 284 for that one. Oh, and there's a Leonard Cohen hardcover on page 285. All about the last night of his life in 2016. And it's wow, that's a fascinating concept right there. Leonard Cohen on a Wire, the hardcover on page 285. Man lived a very, very eventful life, to say the least.
Indeed.
Also with one of the most overplayed versions of Hallelujah that possibly exists.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I've never really enjoyed that song in any form.
All right, I feel like somebody pointed out something in Fantagraphics. So let me go back to the page here and see whether I'm right. No, not quite yet. All right. Well, either way, while I'm here on page 291, Mickey Mouse, Zombie Coffee. Award-winning French cartoonist / Disney animator Régis Loisel presents an amazing brand new Mickey adventure told in the daily comic strip serial style of Disney legend Freud Gottfredson's beloved early Mickey adventures, packed with action, laughs, and magnificent details that explode off the pages. This is a deluxe edition in landscape format, and it's a hardcover that comes in a portrait formatted slipcase. So the buyer can shelve it vertically, but read it in its full CinemaScope style glory. That is super awesome and excellent form factor choice by Fantagraphics there, page 291.
Mm-hmm.
Also, only in Fantagraphics can you find a book called The Clitoris directly next to Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck.
Yes, well said.
Oh, man.
On page 296, we find one of the things that Malachi Ward recommended to us, and that I think I might have to give a try. It's from Floating World Comics, and it's called Giant-Sized Santos Sisters #1. It appears to be kind of a mashup of superheroics, funny animals, 70s teen comics, particularly Archie, and just general surrealistic nuttiness mashed together into one package. Malachi praises the creator's loving simulation of the feel of the 70s teen genre in this oversized package. It's 56 pages of comics for $5, which is actually a pretty good deal as far as bang for your page buck.
Sure. Yeah, can't beat that.
So yeah, that's. I am interested. I think I may put that in my DCBS cart.
Excellent. Thank you for the suggestion, Malachi. I'm gonna do my best to put these threads up before we record our previews every month.
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of lead time to announce in advance that we were going to be doing this because we didn't know very far in advance that we were going to be doing this. So thanks to those of you who answered the call on Facebook.
Absolutely. Did we past Running Quarterly, by the way? That was a while ago, right?
Yeah, I guess it would have been.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely did not notice. Drawn and Quarterly is 284 and 285.
Okay.
So.
Well, that was easy enough for me to find again. There we are. He also mentioned Secret Life as one of the Drawn and Quarterlies, and is it actually listed under Drawn and Quarterly here?
It's at the bottom of page 285.
Thank you so much. There we are. Voila. Okay. With deft insight, Secret Life observes a sinister individualism of bureaucratic settings in contrast with an unconcerned natural world. As the narrative progresses, you may begin to suspect that the world Ellsworth has brought to life with hypnotic visuals is not so secret after all. In fact, it's uncannily similar to our own. And he says here that art comics legend Theo Ellsworth teaming up with Jeff Vandermeer, author of Annihilation, one of my very favorite modern science fiction novels. This is going to be a hell of a comic. Yeah. I agree with that entirely. I love the Annihilation movie. I haven't actually read Annihilation, the original novel that it was based on, but this looks very interesting. Let's go with Asphalt Blues here out of Humanoids on page 308. Stunning visuals, which is what immediately got me. It's art and story by Jaquen, and it's a cinematic thriller for fans of Danish film director Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Drive and Michael Mann, which is certainly a nice combo there. This is set in the year 2038. And it's been 13 years since Nina and Mick split up. Both have since rebuilt their lives, but at what cost? This is all about essentially, their lives, but also thrown in some like good car action and some of the most stunning colors that I've seen in recent memory on a comic here in the preview pages on page 102. Really, really good. I'm sorry, page 309. It's 102 of the comic itself, and the looks of it. Then yeah, excellent visuals. Asphalt Blues, page 322, out of NBM, Alfred Hitchcock, master of suspense.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yep. All about the life of one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. Good stuff.
Yeah. Getting into his identity as a Catholic in the United Kingdom.
Yep. Going deep into it. Not something you hear talked about very much about him.
No, I certainly didn't know that was a part of his identity.
Yep. Once again, page 322. Noel Simsolo on the writing and Dominique Hay on the artwork. Rick and Morty Infinity Hour, #1. Got Mags Visaggio on it on page 333. So she's dipping into the Rick and Morty pool now. Illustrated by Mark Ellerby as well. So we get looks like a whole new Rick involved here than the one we normally get.
Yep, looks like a younger Rick actually.
Yep, definitely. As he's recruited into a galactic rebellion, forming a bond with a ragtag group of freedom fighters, mystics, and mercenaries. And I'm sure as he was joining them, he said, "You son of a bitch, I'm in." Okay, moving on.
But we already know Rick's stance on heist movies.
So. Oh, definitely. Maybe this is why he feels that way.
It could be the origin of that stance. Yeah,
exactly. And Oni has a free comic book day that issue that's solicited further along here. It may have been at the top too, but Jana and the Unpossible Monsters has a free comic book day issue, written, illustrated by Chris Somney and written by Laura Somney as well. So Laura and Chris Somney together on a comic. That sounds like a good time to me on page 335. Them Somneys know how to make books.
Indeed, they do.
Okay. I know that there was supposed. Yeah, here we are. Okay, so we were Dave McNulty pointed this out, and I probably would have missed it had he not done so. So thank you very much for that. On page 342, Judge Dredd, Blaze of Glory trade paperback, written by the one and only Al Ewing, and artwork by Various. This is his early Judge Dredd work. But before he got into the Marvels of the world, this is when he was working with 2000 AD, and here's a bunch of those stories collected into one volume here. Judge Dredd, Blaze of Glory.
All of it under a Liam Sharp cover. And right next to it on that same page, on the lighter side of things, Birdman and Chicken, the Crazy with a K Crusaders, which is collecting a humor strip that appeared in a British kids comic magazine called Crazy with a K in the late 70s. It was kind of a send-up about 10 years too late of the Adam West Batman series. So it's a little bit of nostalgia here for British geeks of a certain age.
Nice. Both of those are on page 342. Okay. Tomorrow's this month. Back issue number 135 on page 367. It's the silver issue starring the Silver Surfer in the Bronze Age, plus Jack Kirby's Silver Star, Scott Hampton's Silver Heels, Silver Sable, a Silver Banshee villain history, and a heck of a lot more. Silver.
Yep, you said it 5 times fast.
I did, and it didn't even sound like the word by the time I got to the 5th time.
Well, we're coming up on 3 hours here.
Oh, I know. Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Tongue becomes twisted. But there's input from Kurt Busiek, Tom DeFalco, Steve Englehart, Ron Frenz, Ron Mars, Sterling Gates, Fabian Isieza, Alex Ross, and a whole lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Always good to see. And Malachi Ward mentioned the resolicit for on the very next page, 368, Mac Rayboy, Master of the Comics. And again, this is a resolicit, so it has been published before, but this is another edition of it. Basically, Mac Rayboy struggled to survive the Great Depression and eventually found his way into the comic book sweatshops of America. In that world of 4-color panels, he perfected his art style on such creations as Dr. Voodoo, Zorro, the Mystery Men, Zorro the Mystery Man, that is, Bullet Man, Spy Smasher, Green Llama, Captain Marvel Jr., and much more.
Yep, very interesting figure. He was a kind of a consummate perfectionist, just kind of brooded and obsessed over his artwork, and he was known for scrapping entire issues and starting over. He frustrated his editors to no end. But yep, he's a very important part of the Fawcett history of Captain Marvel comics.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, and I think I'm ready for manga, unless you have anything before then, sir.
Yeah, nothing I really need to mention.
All right.
Let's move it out.
Sounds good to me. Okay, and as we head there, and I pass by, where are you? Where are you? I'm waiting for you. There we are. There's Bob. Yep. All right. Now I can safely go into the rest of it. Here we are.
Mary Ellen Worthington assures us that Mob Psycho is a good comic, but it doesn't make the advertising any less creepy or any less spammy. It's always there.
I know. I know it's probably good because One Punch Man is excellent stuff, and there's even an anime to go with Mob Psycho now that I may have to check out. But still, 401 Alice in Borderland has 18-year-old Ryohei Arisu, who's sick of life. School sucks, his love life is a joke, and his future weighs on him like impending doom. As he struggles to exist in a world that can't be bothered with him, Ryohei feels like everything would be better if he were anywhere else. And a strange fireworks show transports him and his friends to a parallel world where he thinks all his wishes have come true, but this new world isn't an empty paradise. It's a vicious game, and the only way to survive is to play. This is a cool concept. They say it's for fans of Squid Game, and I am a fan of Squid Game, so that is all for me. Page 401, Alice in Borderland, Volume 1 by Haro Aso.
Says here it's already been adapted into a Netflix live-action series.
Oh, okay then. Well then, I will also have to watch that at some point. Excellent. Page 409, just for the name, Catch These Hands. Don't catch these hands. One day, Takebe, a former delinquent trying to leave that part of her past behind for good, runs into her high school rival, Saramori. The two fight for the first time in years, and thanks to being desperately out of practice, Takabe loses, leaving her no choice but to accept Samori's request to start dating her? What? Yen Press. Page 409. Catch these hands.
Yeah, catch them. Catch them if you can.
All right. And one more, if I can find it. Let's see here. Here we are. Denpa's got me. Page 416. The Song of Yuri and Asa. When Asachi decides to start up a band to pick up chicks, he soon realizes his band's in trouble. He's a bad singer. Thankfully, his bassist Yoru is there to help, but Asa isn't interested in his help or his advances. Will the stubborn Asa open up to Yoru or will their relationship be nothing but screaming and violence? That could also be the name of a band right there, Screaming and Violence.
It should be.
Yeah, right? The Song of Yoru and Asa, the hardcover there, out of Denpa Books on page 416. And that is my bolt shot.
I've actually got something to shout out in manga this time.
Go ahead.
Yep, it's on page 434. It's from Tokyo Pop. It's a Disney manga thing. Donald Duck Visits Japan in softcover by Mero Okano. And it's a Japanese take on Donald and his avian amigos in The Three Caballeros, Jose Carioca, the parrot, and Pedro Pistoles, the Mexican rooster. They go to Japan, and they do and experience Japanese things while there.
Nice.
So, for Disney fans, that's something to look for, but it's not available in Canada, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Indonesia, or the UK. Sorry, guys.
Well, nuts to that. But hey, at least it's available in other places.
Yep, including presumably where you and I live.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that's rights issues more than anything else.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, but very cool nonetheless.
And I actually dug up something in the merchandise part of the book.
Merchandising.
Find at least one good thing to mention over there per issue these days. It's on page 32.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently Hasbro, under the good old brand name of Kenner, has been putting out some classically styled classically styled Star Wars toys based on more recent properties. And there is, from The Mandalorian, in a very 80s looking package design, the Navarro Cantina playset.
Wow.
Place where Mando would sometimes frequent and, pick up work.
Very, very nice. And yeah, I love that the Kenner line still manages to put out some stuff every now and then.
Yep, it's a wholly owned subsidiary of Hasbro now, but hey, at least it still exists in some form.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And to the left of that, an incredibly sexy Black Series lightsaber. Those are the incredibly expensive ones. That's $250 right there, but oh, so pretty. So pretty. I'm sure it goes very, very well.
It's not worth any $250 if it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, and with that, bolt shot.
All right.
Okay, job well done. And I hope you guys enjoyed the deep dive as usual, because boy, oh boy, did we dive deep.
Yep.
Okay.
Full on microscopic.
Mm-hmm. And with that, a reminder to thank you all for the donations over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. As without you, these previous episodes would not be able to dive deep, and neither would any of our episodes. So thank you all for that continued support of the show. We'd be nothing without you, and we'd be nothing without Murd filling in for Shane. So whenever you're ready, sir.
All righty then. Folks, if you'd like to send us an email, our address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. If you'd like, you can call us and leave a voicemail at 267-702-6642. You can follow us on Twitter, where our handle is @comicgeekspeak. You can like us on Facebook and also join our Comic Geek Speak supergroup there, where you can talk back to us about our various episodes and engage in little mini discussions with your fellow CGS listeners and fans. You can also go to the forums.vanillacommunity.com, which is our online forum, our original online presence, where you can do exactly the same thing you can do at Facebook. Just talk back to us about the episodes and have little conversations in post form with your fellow CGS fans. You can go to youtube.com/comicgeekspeak, where you can watch most of our recently produced episodes in video form, especially helpful for these previews episodes that Ian puts together. We thank you once again to all of you who have donated to the show monetarily in the recent past or in the distant past, by whatever platform you prefer, Patreon or otherwise. We really appreciate it, and the show would not be what it is today without your support. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.